Welcome to freewebsitesite.com, your ultimate playground for bringing big ideas to life. We make it effortless for you to build, design, and launch the website of your dreams without needing a single line of code. With our vibrant templates, dynamic tools, and round-the-clock support, there's nothing stopping you from turning your vision into reality. Let's ignite your creative spark and build something extraordinary, because at freewebsitesite.com, it's all about freedom. Let's get started now.
All right, so have you ever been in that position where like you're interviewing someone and they just seem like a really great person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And their resume might not be like absolutely perfect, but you really want to give them a chance.
Right.
Is that always the right move for your business though?
That's a great question. And it's something that I think a lot of us struggle with because we want to be compassionate.
Right.
We want to give people a chance. But we also have to remember that hiring decisions are really important for a business.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think McKinsey did some research on this, and they found that companies with really strong talent management programs see like up to 30% higher profitability.
Wow.
Which is huge, right? So we really have to think about how we can balance compassion with making smart decisions for our businesses.
30%.
Okay.
Yeah, suddenly it's not just about like this one person you feel bad for. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is
Yeah.
like the whole business could be impacted by this decision.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to be diving into this with this article. Are you self-sabotaging during hiring? And it turns out that it's not always the wrong idea to hire more based on personality and that feeling that you get. But it is something that you need to be more strategic about.
Yeah, the article really emphasizes that it's not always about just being the nice guy. Like
No.
sometimes you do have to make those tough decisions
Yeah,
because in the long run, it could actually harm your business if you're not making the strategic decision.
totally.
So, imagine you need to hire someone for a marketing role.
Okay.
And you need someone who really understands social media strategy. And you have someone who's just like a really nice person.
Yeah.
But they have zero experience in social media.
Right.
Is that really doing them or your business any favors by putting them in that position?
Probably not, no.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster, even with the best intentions.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And the article even points out that there can be significant financial consequences.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the U.S. Department of Labor estimates that a bad hire can cost a company like 30 to 50% of that employee's first year earnings.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
And then there are other studies that have found that it can be even higher, like up to 150% of their salary or even
Right.
more in lost productivity recruitment costs to replace them.
Oh, yeah.
So it really adds up.
Okay, so maybe hold off on the welcome to the team party if they haven't even like opened up, the software before or something.
Exactly. You want to make sure that they're a good fit for the role
Yeah,
and that you're not just hiring them out of pity,
right.
because that's not helpful for anyone.
So how do we balance those two things then? Because I do want to be a compassionate leader, but I also don't want to run my business into the ground.
Right. And that's where this idea in the article talks about this of boundaries comes into play.
Oh, okay.
So it's not about being cold or heartless. It's about setting those clear expectations and sticking to them.
Okay, so boundaries, yeah, so like that's a buzzword everyone's saying, but what does that actually look like in this context?
So, imagine you hire someone out of pity
Okay.
and then it blows up.
Right.
Who does that damage?
Yeah, that's true.
It damages the business.
Right.
It damages your credibility as a leader.
Especially with the rest of your team who maybe you were more strategic about hiring the first time,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like now they're like, oh, you play favorites or something like that.
Right. It undermines the whole team.
Yeah, it's that like ripple effect that you don't think about in the moment,
Exactly. So it's about being a responsible leader and making those tough decisions.
Interesting. So it's not just about being nice. It's about actually like being a good leader overall.
Exactly. And being fair to everyone involved.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And then that leads into another important factor that the article emphasizes,
Okay.
which is company culture fit.
Oh, right.
So it's not just about having the skills. It's also about how well they're going to fit in with the company's values and their way of working. Because if they're not a good culture fit, then it's going to create all sorts of problems down the line, even if they have the skills to do the job.
And it's not just about them not liking the office snacks or something, right?
Yeah.
What's the real impact of someone just not vibing with the company culture.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. It's not about superficial stuff. It can actually make or break a business. And there's this leadership IQ study, the article mentioned, 89% of hiring failures boiled down to attitude and cultural fit, not skills.
89%.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that really highlights just how crucial this is, even if it's not as straightforward as, checking off someone's technical abilities.
Absolutely. It's about the whole picture and ultimately asking yourself, are we setting everyone up for success here? Think about it. If your company thrives on collaboration, everyone's bouncing ideas off each other, right?
Yeah.
And you bring in someone who's used to working solo, a lone wolf kind of vibe, that clash, that friction, it impacts the whole team's dynamic.
Totally. It's like that saying, one bad apple.
Exactly. It can spoil the bunch.
Okay, so cultural fit, huge factor alongside those hard skills. Got it. Now, the article teased some really tactical strategies to avoid these hiring pitfalls. Can we dig into those? What can our listeners actually do to make sure they are making those smarter hiring decisions?
Absolutely. And the best part is these are things you can implement right away. So first up, define the role clearly. And I don't mean a vague, must be good at social media kind of thing. I'm talking laser focus on what success in this role actually looks like day to day. What are the specific tasks, the deliverables?
So instead of that vague social media example, it'd be like, we need someone who can manage our Instagram and TikTok accounts, track engagement metrics, and create engaging video content.
Right.
Getting
It's
super
part specific. That level of detail from the get-go, it helps attract the right candidates, and it weeds out those who aren't a good fit early on, saves everyone time and headaches. Second tip, this ties back to what we were talking about earlier. Look for learning potential, not just a laundry list of skills.
So maybe they haven't managed a team of 10 before, but you can tell they're a fast learner, they take initiative, they're hungry to grow.
Exactly. Someone who is eager to learn and grow can be even more valuable in the long run than someone who might have more experience, but is stuck in their ways, not adaptable.
It's that growth mindset everyone's always talking about.
Yes. And this ties directly into our next strategy, thorough vetting.
Okay, so we're not just skimming resumes here. We're talking really digging deep during the interview process.
Think of it this way. The article suggested using work simulations or assessments that are based on actual challenges the new hire would face. So, for example, if you're a fast-paced startup environment, maybe you incorporate a rapid-fire problem-solving task during the interview.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're not just asking, tell me about a time you overcame an obstacle, which often leads to those canned responses everyone has.
Right. You're seeing how they think on their feet, how they approach problems in real time. It's so much more insightful.
Way more telling than just relying on those rehearsed answers. What else? Give us more.
Trial periods can be a game changer. The article talked about how a company started using them and their mishires drastically decreased.
Trial periods. Okay, so how do you structure a trial period effectively? Is it just like, come and work for a week and we'll see?
Not at all. You want to approach it almost like an extension of the interview process. Set clear goals and expectations for what they should achieve or focus on during that trial period. Provide regular feedback. And most importantly, use that time to observe how they actually function within your team's dynamic.
Got it. So it's not just throwing them in the deep end and hoping they swim. It's structured. It's an evaluation for both sides.
Exactly. And then once you found that right fit, invest in training and mentorship, even if they're coming from a similar role in another company. Onboarding that's tailored to your specific way of doing things can make a world of difference.
Makes sense. It's about setting everyone up for success from day one. I love it. This has been so eye-opening. Any last words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up this section?
It all boils down to finding that sweet spot between being generous, wanting to give people opportunities, and being real with what your business needs to thrive. Remember, a well-chosen hire benefits everyone. It's not just about filling a seat.
It really is that win-win scenario that I think we all are looking for as leaders, helping people grow while making sure the business is succeeding as well.
Absolutely. And it made me think of this last point from the article, which I thought was really interesting. This idea of thinking long-term and building a talent pipeline.
Okay, so not just like scrambling to fill a position when it's already open, but always kind of having your feelers out there.
Exactly. And like being proactive about your hiring needs, attending industry events, connecting with people on LinkedIn whose work you admire, maybe even offering internships. It's about building relationships even when you don't have an immediate opening.
That's a great point. Because then if there's someone you interviewed who was almost ready for a role but not quite there yet, you kind of have them in your back pocket for future opportunities or even to refer them to someone else in your network.
Exactly. It's about building that network and shifting your mindset from just filling a position to really cultivating talent over time.
I love that. This has been such a great deep dive. We've gone from like questioning our gut instincts about hiring to
Yeah.
now having all these concrete strategies that we can put in place.
It's about taking action.
It is.
And I think the article gave us a lot to think about.
It really did.
Uh, but if there's one thing I want listeners to take away from this, it's this. Which of these strategies resonated most with you? And how can you apply even just one small change to your own work, whether you're hiring or not?
I love that challenge. Because it's not just about business, right? This is about making more mindful decisions in all areas of our lives.
Exactly. Having clear boundaries, understanding what success looks like, those are valuable skills no matter what you do.
So true. So much to think about and even more to do. All right, everyone, you heard the expert. Time to go put this wisdom into action. Until next time, happy hiring, happy collaborating, and happy decision making.
Welcome to freewebsitesite.com, your ultimate playground for bringing big ideas to life. We make it effortless for you to build, design, and launch the website of your dreams without needing a single line of code. With our vibrant templates, dynamic tools, and round-the-clock support, there's nothing stopping you from turning your vision into reality. Let's ignite your creative spark and build something extraordinary, because at freewebsitesite.com, it's all about freedom. Let's get started now.